After a year in lockup, quarantine that is, high schoolers are chomping at the bit to experience normal life, like prom. There could be a tendency to overindulge in the fun, which is why folks are out there to make sure that teens stay safe. Joining us is Fehr, president of the High School Injury Prevention Coalition, and he's joining us from an emergency vehicle from the inside of one, which is something that you never want to see, right, Carl?
That's correct. Usually when we show up, somebody's having a bad day, and we try to want to make them fix them and help them out as best as we can. But we're here to help. But of course, it's not usually on someone's best day.
Yes, that's a tough office on wheels to have to manage, but I'm sure you've seen it all. And you're also division chief for Charleston County EMS. So first of all, thank you for what you do. There are not many among us who dive into situations of emergency and tragedy and you name it. But we're talking about prom specifically. When it comes to our young people, what are some of the more typical emergencies that you see year after year around this time?
Prom puts a lot of pressure on students, and part of the mission of the High School Injury Prevention Coalition is that we're bringing preventative efforts year round. It's not just about prom season, but it's about the whole year and a whole gamut of bringing important messages to the students of their decisions, and we want them to make good, responsible decisions, especially when they're behind the wheel of a vehicle. And so what we want to make sure of is that people understand that their decisions and what their actions that they take can have lifelong repercussions. So you see a lot of high school students, starting to spread their wings and think that they're invincible. They don't think that they're going to get injured. They don't think they're going to get hurt, or this isn't going to happen to them. It's just something that they see on the news. And, we bring our resources from EMS and, with the coalition, with the High School Injury Prevention Coalition, we also bring in the resources of all the other responding agencies that work with us. We're comprised of all of the local EMS agencies, all of the local hospitals, all of the local coroner's offices, chaplains, fire departments, police departments. We're all there to do preventative measures because we've gone to these tragedies before. We see them on a daily basis, and we want to prevent that. We don't like having to respond to those sort of things because it's a really bad day for somebody.
So it sounds like, Carl, that car accidents are one of the number one emergencies you get called out for when we're talking about this particular age group. Now, while probably the biggest deterrent from doing anything stupid is not wanting to worry mom, but when you talk about kids who do think that they're invincible and they want to drive too fast, or they want to drink alcohol, or they just want to do, let's face it, dumb things, what do you tell them? How do you get through to them that they are not invincible and that these lifelong consequences, they could be affected by it?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, so a lot of it is bringing a lot of the resources that are in their community and helping them understand that these resources are in their community because these things happen. We try to bring in all kinds of different really hands-on things. We want the kids to be able to come in and touch things and see what we do and see all of the things that could happen to them. We'll bring speakers in that have been through these sort of tragedies before.
Sure.
We'll have all kinds of different activities in the schools every month.
It needs to be tangible. So it has to be tangible for the teens in order for them to understand, because a lot of these ramifications are not just physical, they can also be legal, and they could also affect their families. So as we move into prom season, Carl, can you just give us a quick idea, a few things that kids can do to make sure that they stay safe and that they don't worry mom and dad?
Absolutely. So buddy systems are a great plan. Have a friend, have a buddy that that you can count on, that you can support on. If you're going in groups, try to make sure that if you're driving in a vehicle that they're keeping the distractions to a minimum, that that you've got that good solid friend base that's there, and that they realize that if somebody's getting into trouble and they've made some bad decisions, of course we don't want anybody to get into that place in the beginning, but don't be afraid to call 911. Don't think that they're going to get in trouble by the police or their parents or anything else like that. While that may happen, their life is much more important than the trouble that they're going to get in.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times when we respond to incidents like that, while law enforcement may be really looking to figure out where they got the drugs or where they got the alcohol, the person that's in trouble, that's needing our services or EMS's services at that point, that person is not going to be in as much trouble legally. They're going to be in much more trouble. That we got to get them through their medical crisis.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Don't drink. Don't drive. Put the phones down. Get to where you need to be safely, and just don't do anything stupid. That's the advice that I've always lived by. Carl, yeah. I want to thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me. That was wonderful. Thank you.
We're back after this.